Hi friends, nice that you've tuned in again. This is Bob Hatton, this is The Encourager, and I'm going to bring you some encouraging words. We are going to have a look in the next few weeks and probably months at the Gospel of Mark. The Gospel of Mark is the oldest of the four Gospels that we have. Now, every year, 100 million Bibles are printed, and that makes the Bible into the most distributed and most sold book in the whole world. The Bible has been translated into 450 different languages. And maybe you know that the Bible has two parts to it. There's the Old Testament and the New Testament. And the New Testament has been translated into a further 1,500 languages. And one book out of the 27 books that we have in the New Testament, one of these books has been translated into another 2,700 languages, and that is the Gospel of Mark. The first four books of the New Testament, they're called Gospels. The word gospel simply means it's been translated into English from the Greek word, but it simply means good news. Good news, and it was especially used if a king or someone who is the powerful leader, if he won a certain battle, a military victory, which consolidated his power, and as this was made known, this was the gospel. Also, when the new king was born, when his birthday, that was the gospel. Or when the old king died and the new king was appointed, then that was the gospel. That was the good news for the people, and especially for the new king. And it's interesting that the biblical writers, they take this story of Jesus, this news of Jesus, and they use the same word, the gospel, the good news. The king has consolidated his power. And we read at the beginning of Mark's gospel, it says the beginning of the gospel of Jesus Christ, or Jesus the Messiah, the Son of God. Now, the gospel, the Gospels, the four Gospels, and the Gospel of Mark is not just simply a biography. It's not even a historical book, but it's more like a news bulletin. It's a news bulletin which just tells us some aspects of what had happened in Jerusalem, Palestine in those days. And normally these news items, they would be read aloud. They weren't there for us to read. They weren't like from the newspaper, but it was more like something that would be broadcast on radio or TV. The New Testament was written in classic or old ancient Greek, and it was written in large letters, capital letters, without any punctuation, no commas, no full stops, no exclamation marks, no questions, and that makes it difficult to read. That's why it was good to listen to someone else being read. It would take you about 2 hours to read through the book of Mark. A few years ago, an actor by the name of Alex Cowan, who was a Shakespearean actor, and he also played in some of the James Bond films, he had a desire to recite the Gospel of Mark in a theatre. And that's what he did in Newcastle, in the northeast of England. And he filled that theatre, and it was such a great success that he was invited to come and do the same thing in London. And there he recited in one of the theatres the book of Mark. And he went from one theatre to another, one bigger theatre to another larger theatre, filling the theatre every day. And in the end, he was invited to go to America, where he was a great success. And in the end, the president invited him to come and recite Mark's Gospel in the White House. And just recently, another actor, David Suchet, he has recited Mark's Gospel in St. Paul's Cathedral in London, and he had a full house as he did it. Mark was the first gospel that was written. It's shorter than the other Gospels. It only has 16 chapters. The John's Gospel has 21 chapters. Luke's 24, and Matthew's has 28 chapters. It was the shortest one, and it was also the very first one that was to be written. Mark's favourite word is immediately. And he uses this word 41 times in the 16 chapters. Everything had to happen at once, immediately, immediately, immediately. And somebody dubbed him Mark the action man, because everything was going on quickly. And he goes from one story to another, one happening to another, one incident to another very quickly. And the story that Mark recites to us is a very fast-paced, breathtaking, exciting story. And it leads us to the summit, to the peak of world history. And that was at 9 o'clock in the morning on the 3rd of April in the year 33 AD, when Jesus, a Jew from Nazareth, was executed by crucifixion by the Romans. And this incident changed the world. And towards the end of Mark's Gospel, as the crucifixion was happening, Mark records for us in chapter 15 and verse 40, he says there were a group of women who observed this from a distance. And it's my prayer and it's my hope that as we go through the book of Mark, that maybe you are someone who's just observing the things about Jesus from a distance, that you don't have any personal contact to Jesus Christ. And it's my hope, my prayer for you, that as we go through the next few days and weeks, that you will take some steps and come closer to him. It's a very exciting story that, as I said, changed the world, and it's a very exciting story that can change your life. God bless you. I hope you all have a good day. You're Bob Hatton.